My name is Jonah Jonathan, and welcome once again to New York Jazz Musician's Voice. This is part 3 of my video interview with jazz pianist Harold Mabern. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts, please make sure you do so. Otherwise, enjoy. So, all your time here in New York, you've been in New York for...
November 21st, 1959.
Very long time.
Long time.
Well over 50 years.
Yeah.
Could you tell us what you think the biggest thing is that has changed in jazz, from your time here? What's the biggest change that you've experienced from New York back then and New York now?
Well, musically speaking, the only biggest change that I know, other than the fact that most of my elders are gone. See, when I was a youngster, we respected our elders, like the Papa Joe Jones, like the Bud Johnsons, the Harry Sweet Sutton, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the younger cats don't respect us, but a lot of it is missing, because a lot of them think they know as much as we do, and first of all, they can't be. Because first of all, you haven't been around that long. You know what I'm saying? Because if you call one tune in a different key, then those guys who stick in the chat, it becomes silent night. Yeah. Especially some of the piano players. I'm just telling the truth, see, and I always say, play for singers, then you learn how to play music. If you play piano, because you can't hide when you play piano. I don't care how soft you play, you got to know what you're doing. So the biggest change is that most of my heroes are gone, and I'd like to see the younger cats not necessarily look up to us, but pick our brains, ask us questions like we did, because that's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to formulate or get your so-called own sound or style. You're not going to get it by staying at home and saying, well, babe, I got my own thing. No, you don't. Tony Williams said there's no such thing as your own thing. That's why Tony Williams, because Tony Williams knew the difference between the top and the bottom. When you said drums, Tony Williams said, I start with Max Roach and Buddy Rich. Then I worked down. Some of these guys said, who you like on alto? He called a whole bunch of them. I said, what about Charlie Parker? Oh, I'm into him too. I said, but you didn't say that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's missing. But overall, there are a lot of bright spots with a lot of the young cats, and including you. I see you're going to be doing some great things if given a chance. But here's the thing. None of us, even in my time, we don't control it. It's up to the so-called powers to be.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
You could be a genius, but if the powers to be say, oh, ain't nothing happening, there you go. Because people sometimes are so fickle, they read whatever they read, they think it's the truth, and it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just to tell people who are watching this, you play frequently at Smoke.
Right.
Especially on Monday nights now.
Right.
And, I really think people should take advantage of that. Definitely come check and learn from you and you playing in the sessions, and it's hopefully people will come and learn from such a master.
So I try to give back to like people encourage me. Hank Jones was one of my biggest encouragers. Dr. Billy Taylor. It's one thing for somebody to support you or promote you. Well, if somebody promoting you, you don't need nobody to promote you. But when somebody encourages you, to me, that's more important, because that means when everybody says, oh, ain't nothing happening, and somebody say, hey, man, keep on doing what you're doing, you're okay. That's what Hank Jones and Dr. Billy Taylor did for me. They always looked out for me, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I also go to the Union on Monday night. Now, the quality of the musicianship is not like it Spoke, but I play a tune and I try to talk to him until he said,
too, right?
Yeah. I try to tell him, say, look, man, learn how to transpose. If you play alone together in D minor, next week learn it in E flat minor or D flat minor.
Yeah.
Because the jam session is a learning process. That's what was happening in Chicago when I was there. It was music everywhere. And if I had a song that I knew and I got my behind kicked, the next week I knew it in all the keys. See, Bob Clash and I used to talk that if any group came to Chicago, we knew everybody's music. No, not bragging, no fake book. How did we do it? Because we listened. Anybody that came to town, if Horace Stevens came down, I could play. This was the fake book, and that's how we learned. See, so it stays with you.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
So with that, you started talking about the younger cats not being like how the cats used to be, and not wanting to learn from the masters before them.
Exactly.
What do you think about the current cats who are going to music school? Because there's a lot of young musicians coming out of school. They're going to college, they're learning in school, whereas opposed to back in the day, you learned on the bandstand.
Right.
What do you think about that as from your perspective?
Schooling is good. I wish I could have gone to a music school. I wish I could have studied some Chopin etude stuff, so I have no problem with that. But that's only an enhancement.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go to play. Like I said, Monte Alexander didn't go. Wes Montgomery, Buddy Montgomery didn't go. Earl Garner didn't go. And the list goes on. I didn't go. You see?
Yeah.
But it's just an enhancement. But if you don't go, you can still survive. But if you go, at least try to get your degree, then that just at least puts you in a little better position. So if you decide you want to teach and they say, well, what kind of degree do you have? Then at least you got something to fall back on.
Yep.
But you don't necessarily have to go to school to learn, you know.
Sure. So you are well known in Japan and in Europe. But unfortunately nowadays not really as well known here in the States.
Right.
Could you speak to us about how it is playing there in Japan and how they accept you and why you think it is that they appreciate?
Well, here it is. Long story short, I always say that when we go to Europe, the Europeans love us. They love us. But when we go to Japan, the Japanese people idolize us, and you're not supposed to idolize nobody but the Most High. They'll spend $100 for a cover charge, young people, and don't complain. Now, you might have to sign 100 LPs, but see, the music is more important to them than it is here, unfortunately, in this country. This country is culturally deprived because what do they listen to? Garbage, Lady Gaga and all that. Come on, I don't want to get started, you understand? So that's why we love going over there, man, because we know Joe Newman, one of my biggest heroes years ago, talked about it when he got off the plane over there. He went over with Benny Carter. He said, brought tears to his eyes. It was thousands and thousands of people at the airport to greet them before. So this stuff has been going on for a long time.
Sure.
That's why it's worth that 14 hours to go there, because you know how you're going to be received when you get there. And it should be like that here. I mean, I'm thankful for the few jazz fans we do have in this country, but it could be much better. But like Johnny Griffin said years ago, this music is not for the mass. In other words, this is not dumb music. This is for smart people. You know, if you got a dumb brain, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you said Joe Henderson could speak 10 languages once, right?
Well, I don't know if I said Joe Henderson, but there was a pianist named Oscar Denard who taught Cannonball. He could speak 10 different languages fluent. You know, Kenny Garrett speaks the Japanese language very well. So does Jeff Keyser. Dr. Willie Ruff at Yale been speaking the Chinese language for over 50 years. So everybody is into something other than music. I keep forgetting Josh Redmond has 2 degrees. One from MIT and somewhere else. You know, Herbie Hancock's made an electrical engineer. Keith Jarrett did the Goldberg variations behind Glenn Gould, and the classical pianist say, wow, gee whiz. You know, Hubert Laws, when things get tight, he go out on a classical tour with Jean-Pierre Rampal. You see? Jazz musicians are the smartest people in the world, man, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
Because we can do everything that they can do, but they can't do what we can do. You know, we can learn how to become a computer expert quicker than they can learn how to say Now, if you write it down, they say you know, that's not a put down. That's just where it is. So being a jazz musician, man, is a special blessing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks so much for
my pleasure
for speaking to us. Last thing, do you have anything that you would like to say to people who are watching this? Do you have anything in particular that you feel people would do better to hear?
Well, all of that I can say to the people, thank you for coming out, but support your music and learn to think for yourselves. Don't go by what the critics say, because most critics, they have a job to do, but at least be fair, most critics are frustrated and want to be musicians. That's just the truth. They'll write some stuff, and you say, well, man, what music was he listening to? I don't recall that at all. See, what a critic should do, if you're a critic, you should come to the club, because most critics get in free anyway. That's just the way it is, and have dinner and lunch. What they should do, come bring your tape recorder, tape what they hear, and when they get through, say, Mr. Mabern and Mr. whoever it is said, let me play this, and play it back and said, now when you did this, what did you have in mind? Then we can tell them what, and then they can write around that. But most critics, they don't know, man. They just write some stuff. They give you a left-handed compliment. They'll say, oh, wow, gee whiz, rah, 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 blah, blah. And at the end, they say, but this because so that's where critics should do. Get your tape recorder, because they're not the experts, we are. You know.
Well, that's why I'm trying to do, as myself, a musician interviewing musicians.
Right.
I can ask questions that
Exactly.
normal cats
Because you're
wouldn't
the
ask.
expert. This is your livelihood. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking
sure.
about.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Professor.
Thank you.